as it'll be the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, thank you. We've got clear skies and brisk temperatures. You know what that is? That's perfect fall football weather here at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, PA. This was the scene just a few moments ago as the Pittsburgh faithful were fired up by the hometown Steelers taking the field. They're all set as they'll match up with the Baltimore Ravens. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, we look at this Steeler ball club entering play. They come in on a pretty good roll here, winners of 3 straight. Meanwhile, for the visiting Ravens, they're hitting their stride of late, winners of 3 of their last 4.
In the offense last week, they had things humming. If you're a defensive player, you may get overshadowed a little bit, but you're really buoyed by what your offense is doing.
Strap in. This will be a good one. 2 one-loss teams getting together as they're underway on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Steelers coming out. It is Mason Rudolph under center. Ben Roethlisberger, the all-time leader in so many Steeler passing categories, out for the year with that elbow surgery. Enter Mason Rudolph, a 3rd-round pick last year out of Oklahoma State. Threw for better than 13,000 yards in college, so the talent is there. But now it's about trying to pilot an offense here in the National Football League.
Break. Hey, we don't like the 48 right now. Let's go. And watch that. And watch the ball.
They'll fake it. Now Rudolph. And he goes down. The Ravens able to get to him. Marching in for the sack, Matthew Judon. That's called setting the tone right away.
It certainly is, and it lets you know just how important communication is amongst the offensive line. They talk about it all the time, knowing each other's moves. You've got to be coordinated and in sync. Otherwise, your quarterback gets hit.
Well, they're in some hot water now after that sack. It's 2nd and 21.
48 to Mike. Hey,
Here's Rudolph. And he goes down. It's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line. Matt Judon able to record his 5th sack of the season. Well, someone came to play today.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. We heard about it all week, didn't we? Especially when we visited practice. He thought he had a good matchup in front of him, and he's taking full advantage right now.
After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Ready?
This is a guy who made a Pro Bowl in his 2nd season, James Conner. And a short gain here as he gets it up only to about the 6. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down.
We often talk of situational football. Let's just call it team football. The defense did their job, got off the field, brought up a punting situation, so they're turning the ball back over to their offense. You think those guys will get along very well right now? Of course they will. Defense helped the offense. Now it's their turn to take it downfield.
Here's Thomas. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And the Ravens, they'll take over. So here are the Ravens now under 12th-year coach John Harbaugh. They'll be led out by the final pick of the 1st round in 2018 out of Louisville. It's Lamar Jackson.
We both know it's a league where they seemingly throw the ball in just about every play. But watching him perform last week where he threw 3 touchdown passes still caught my eye in a big way.
Still kind of the gold standard, 3 touchdown passes, isn't it? And for his efforts last week, AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
I can't wait to see what he does this week.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10.
Check 3, check 3, check
They go to the former Saint, Mark Ingram. He'll get about 3 as he's brought down right around the 42. And a very good offensive unit here. One of the reasons they're so good is running back Mark Ingram.
Took a little while for him to find his footing when he got into the league, but the former Heisman Trophy winner has it now and has really upped his pass receiving potential. A nice player.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. Pretty darn good, as you see right there on your screen.
I'll echo that. Darn good. 2 touchdowns, right? And the ability to be in sync with each other, right? To understand that he's going to be where the quarterback expects him to be when the ball is thrown.
This is Ingram on 1st and 10. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. It's Big Vince Williams who made the tackle. Time for a look at our starters here on defense. They've been pretty good against the pass. Not amazing, but good. Number 13 in the league. And
when you're getting ready to face the number 1 overall offense in the NFL, it does not matter where you rank defensively because you got your hands full. You don't know what you're going to face, but you know that that's a strong unit that you're getting ready for.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. And an alley to run. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. 27 yards there, a 1st down.
And that was a nice, strong run by the guy they call the field general.
From the red zone now, here's Jackson on 1st down. This will be caught by Brown. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. This game not quite as good as the last, but still over 40 yards between the 2. Those are the kinds of plays right there that show you why he's the number 3 man in the NFL in terms of receiving yards.
Also tells you there's a full combination of what he's got going in his game. You name it, from route running to catching the football. That's why he's able to produce those types of numbers.
They'll run here with Ingram. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. They'll say no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd and goal. So a look here at the key inactives, and we got this list before the game down on the field. They tell us the same thing every time, don't they? Next man up.
No excuses. Be ready to play. That's the mantra of every organization. The key is having guys on the roster who are capable of filling in and playing at a high level. That's when you know you've drafted well, scouted free agents well, and stocked your team just the way you're supposed.
Touchdown, Ravens! Well, you've got to like that start on both sides of the football. You force the 3 and out, and then you score on your first drive.
Well, I know someone who doesn't like that start.
Well, yeah, the other side.
Yeah, they don't like that at all, right? This is not the way it's supposed to be. But what you just described, that's team football, all right? When you get a 3 and out, you're supposed to take advantage of it on the offensive side of the ball. You said, thank you very much for getting us the rock. let's put it in the end zone, and they did exactly that.
Tucker with the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. So that drive 7 plays in length, and it was capped off by the touchdown run that came from Lamar Jackson. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for.
The Steeler first down on the pickup of 11 yards.
It certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Play action. It's Rudolph. And yes, complete to the tight end McDonald. Pittsburgh getting 16 yards there and also a first down.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
So they go from one 42-yard line to the other as they come up now 1st and 10. On 1st and 10 is Counter. Not much there, maybe a couple as he's taken down at the 40. Now the starters on the defensive side of the ball for the Ravens. They were very strong last week in that win over Cleveland.
And the big thing for them was the interceptions. And you hear teams all the time talk about establishing themselves against the pass. You know, no-fly zones and things of that nature. This group had a bunch of them in last week's game.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8.
Rush in, rush in, rush in.
On 2nd down, Connor looking for space. And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. If they want a first, they need to get the football to the 32 here on 3rd down. Shotgun snap for Rudolph. That one into the hands of his tailback, Samuels. And he can only manage to take this thing to the 38, well shy of the first down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
A 55-yard attempt.
And this is off the left upright. And it comes back. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is. So distance not the issue there. He had plenty of leg to get it there. It's that darn upright getting in the way.
Always gets in the way of a good time, doesn't it? Because he hit it square, too. Sometimes you can bank one in if you get it on the end of the football. No such luck there for him.
Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. I mean, look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
They'll fake the give to Ingram. Now Jackson. And that'll wind up incomplete. Try to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down.
How about this offense already feeling good about themselves with a touchdown already in their first drive? They've certainly come out firing, even though that one was incomplete.
With the 7-0 lead, more apt to take a shot like that downfield?
Hey, you're one to the good. Go ahead and try and press your advantage.
Out. Check 3, 6, 8. Mark 55, Mark 55.
Jackson now on 2nd and 10. That's into the hands of the tight end, Boyle. And he got blown up, losing yardage on the play back at the 44. It'll be a loss of 1, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 situation. A pass for negative yardage, obviously no good. Maybe he shouldn't have thrown it, or maybe he shouldn't have caught it.
And I think we were seeing it at the same time, weren't we? Maybe you let that one go, right? Because you can see the lost yardage about to develop. But that goes against every instinct of a receiver. They're taught to catch everything. So it's really hard to be mad at him and yell at him for trying to make that play.
This one complete to Ingram. And he gets this to the 48, but no further. Well short of the line to gain.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. And that ball's going to angle out at the 3-yard line. A beauty.
That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
From that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. And they will start this drive with just terrible field position, backed up inside their own 5.
But we have seen teams be bold here and take shots, right? Sometimes you go max protection, make it a one-receiver route, and take your shot downfield and see what happens. And occasionally, we've seen success occur.
And he's upended at the 6 as they double their room to maneuver on a pickup of 3. I think defensively you're okay with that. You're in the first quarter. He's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that and you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where every series they have to work hard to pick up first downs, and you tend to stall them out when you do that.
Rudolph looking to throw it. And he'll find Washington. That's complete. A gain of 10, good for a Steeler first down. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield. You know what the key to a good screen pass is, don't you?
Bet you're going to tell me. Good blocking?
Well, good blocking eventually. But first is good acting. You want to let the defenders go past you, leak out to whichever side or even in the middle where you want to set up the screen, and then you do your blocking. How about the read, though, by the defensive guys? They weren't fooled at all and actually ran with the lineman to where the play was and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
Set. 15, Lonnie. 15, Lonnie. Watch the run. Ready.
Throwing again on second down. Rudolph. And he's got his man, the tight end, McDonald. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the 20 at the 18. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down.
Go now.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into
hit from behind, and he's going to be driven down. Mike Michael Pierce, in all of his 340-pound glory, gets the sack.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. Here's Jordan Berry now, as he'll kick it away for the second time. Returnable for Thomas. So possession goes over here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. So here are the Ravens to take over on offense. They played the Browns last week, got the victory in that game, and so far so good as they've got the lead here. Baltimore with good starting field position as they come up 1st and 10, just shy of midfield at the 48. They'll run with Ingram here to begin the drive. And he'll be brought down right at midfield after a gain of only a couple.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, this big defensive lineman will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
From midfield now, here's Jackson. That's caught by the former Sooner, Mark Andrews. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. 16 yards on that one and a Raven first. Nice throw there by Jackson. You think about what a boost he gave Baltimore the middle of last year, led them to victories in 6 of their last 7 games as a starter, replacing Joe Flacco, who had the hip issue. And that strong finish was good enough for the Ravens to capture their first AFC North crown since 2012. And now Jackson's a known commodity. He's the unquestioned starter, and with increased expectations and pressure on the former Heisman Trophy winner. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. That one good for 13 and a Raven first down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they've put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
They go play action here on first down. And he's got it. Another big gainer that time. This one goes for 19 yards.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
Nothing doing there. They're going to wind up holding him at the 2. No gain there, and it's going to set up 2nd and goal.
A lot can go wrong when you call a play like this down in the red zone, but that's where you appreciate this from your head coach. He's not afraid to trust his guys to do the right thing, and as a player, that means an awful lot.
And Jackson throwing once more. The quick slant caught. And this will result in him losing yardage back to the 3. That backs him up 1 yard and brings up 3rd down. And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look.
And he will score. Touchdown, Baltimore. Lamar Jackson with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half as the Ravens push further out in front. They were looking to pass the ball there, but they forgot to account for the man with the football.
Yeah, I can hear people right now saying, well, why don't you have a spy in your defense, someone who will dance with him and go where he goes? Well, oftentimes if you utilize a spy, you you've taken away someone in coverage as well. And oftentimes, the spy, not as athletic as the guy he's trying to keep up with, so he gets defeated anyway.
And he turns 3rd and goal into a touchdown. So this drive spans 7 plays. And it was capped off by the touchdown run that came from Lamar Jackson. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Back onto the field comes this offense, and we're going to focus now on Mason Rudolph. And maybe he's starting to wave the white flag a little bit. He's playing pretty well, but the pressure, it's got to him.
Has to find a way to step around it, step through it, or just handle it. Because as you mentioned, he's having a pretty good day overall. Just the hits keep coming and taking those sacks. That's not the way that they want to finish a ball game with their quarterback on the ground so much.
He'd like to stay upright. When he's been upright, he's been pretty good. They start the drive with Conner. And not a lot of daylight. Not really any daylight inside as he's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Brings up 2nd down. Those are the plays this defense needs with the deficit they're facing.
It certainly is, and they've got to continue to swarm the football and hope that someone, while they're holding up the ball carrier, can get in there and rake it and lock it free. They need to get some takeaways as well.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Rudolph. This one complete right side to McDonald.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
Throwing on 3rd down, here's Rudolph. He's going to find his running back. It's complete.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. So a change of possession here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. And we shift our attention to Mark Ingram. It's the 2nd quarter. His team has the lead, but I think he's hoping for a little bit more production out of himself.
And we often talk about preaching patience to a runner when things are a little bumpy in the early going, but we have to do the same thing with the offensive line. They can't wait to halftime to make the adjustments. They have to do it from series to series so those surface tablets come into play. Check out what the defense is doing and see if they can find a better way to run it.
So they search for that patience here now. Throwing on 1st down, it's Jackson. Open receiver, that's Hayden Hurst, the tight end. And they'll get 8 out of this before being stopped at the 28. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the 1st down completion. 2nd year with the Ravens for Hurst. He didn't have the rookie season he was hoping for, just 13 catches. Remember, he's older than the average 2nd-year player. He spent 2 seasons as a pitcher in minor league baseball before hanging up the glove and heading to the gridiron. Now he says he's more determined than ever. Put on 20 pounds of muscle in the offseason. Says he's on a mission with a lot to prove this year. 10 yards there, good enough for a Raven 1st down. Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on 1st down.
Kill. Check 37.
They run. It's Mark Ingram. Bud Dupree, a former 1st-round pick, in on the stop.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much.
I don't think you got it, son. Hey, switch gears. Hey, welcome. Go.
From the 40 now on 2nd down. Jackson got him in. It's Brown. And he'll be stopped right at midfield. 10 yards there. Good enough for a Raven 1st down.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Flushed out right. Trying for Brown, and it's intercepted. Joe Hayden, the veteran, with a pick. CD, I know it's just his second year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, second year, as you noted, on-the-job training. So
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Tyus Bowser, credit him with a sack, and it goes as a loss of 6.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
9 yards on the gain there, and it's going to bring up a tough 3rd and 7. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him, so when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, it makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They've looked lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. That'll be out of bounds, and how good was that? They'll say the 3-yard line. That's where they spot it.
That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
From that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, that could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But this is the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. On 2nd and 9, Jackson has got his man. It's Andrews. And they'll bring him down right around the 13. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down. On 3rd and 1, Jackson. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down. More problems here on 3rd down. They've converted only once so far in this first half.
And you know as well as I do in this league, if you don't win on 3rd down, it makes it hard to win a ball game because then you're relying on your defense, you're relying on your special teams. You've got to get it done with your offensive unit.
It's taken to the 26. They'll call that a punt of 59 yards. Tough to do better than that. And the Steelers will go on offense here, 1st and 10. Juju Smith-Schuster and the rest of this offense heading back out there. You better believe that he's well aware he has 0 catches right now, and they're losing, so he's probably a little hungry.
And you know the guys on defense are aware as well, and they're really excited he has no catches, but they're also worried because a lot of times it's like the ticking time bomb. The longer you hold him down, when he finally explodes, look out.
Yeah, no catches, though, so far in this game.
We didn't need to ask around the league, but we got to confirm this guy's a good player. They've got to find a way to get him more involved, call a few more plays that target him.
Absolutely, because here we are toward the end of the first half, and that's the first target, not just the first catch, first target. They go draw play. This is Samuels, and he'll fight his way forward to about the 48-yard line. Now the Steelers use the second of their 3 timeouts as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. From just shy of midfield, Rudolph. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
You've always been very good about checking my math. Am I correct? That's the first time that it's been incomplete when they've thrown it to him?
Yes, he had caught every other ball coming his way.
So they feel like they've got something really good going there, and they're going to continue to go there until the defense makes an adjustment and takes it away.
Well, they finally made an adjustment there. We'll see if they can build on that stop. And he finds McDonald. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. The Steelers able to pick up 18 yards there. Fifth catch of the game for him there.
Yeah, and the tight end position is now becoming a volume pass catcher. Used to be occasional, right? Safety valve. Throw one to him every so often, but mainly they want him out there to block. Nowadays, an integral part of the passing game, and they create such great mismatches that they often become the leading receiver.
7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. Now it's Rudolph. Letting one go deep for the end zone. And that is incomplete. 16 seconds now on the clock. Vance McDonald, the tight end, was the target. And it's 3rd and short. You got a young quarterback. Maybe that's just an example of a growing pain for him.
I think you're right about that, because when the game starts to move fast and it moves quickly on him, a lot of times they fall back on what they know best, their arm. He's slinging it on this one. Had a wide-open target, but didn't have the proper footwork to increase his accuracy.
And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime. A lot of attention paid this week in practice to red zone offense. The coach was optimistic about how it went. We'll see. Rudolph. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. So we come upon halftime with our score 14-0. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thank you very much. More from you, too, in just a bit. But first, let's get everybody caught up with what's going on around the NFL here in Week 5. We'll get started up at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. And it's the Cardinals who are out in front in that one. Larry Fitzgerald, a touchdown reception. From there, it's over to our nation's capital to check on the Redskins at home at FedEx Field. And they currently trail in that game against the visiting Patriots. Tom Brady, sharp as ever. He's got 2 touchdown passes. Lastly, let's get you to Charlotte, North Carolina. Check on the Panthers at home at Bank of America Stadium. And that game's all tied up as they play the visiting Jaguars. In the game you're watching, we've seen a strong first half out of Lamar Jackson. His guys have a 2-touchdown lead as we hand it back over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Ravens ready to receive it, and they've got the lead as well as we resume play in the second half. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. A reminder about Sunday Night Football later tonight. It's a rematch from the divisional round last year. Colts and Chiefs from Arrowhead. Then tomorrow on Monday night, the Browns and 49ers from Levi's Stadium, with the Browns already playing their 3rd primetime game in the season's first 5 weeks. And the third quarter starts with a run by Ingram. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Ingram again. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. On third down, Jackson. And this one complete to Seth Roberts. And they're going to get him down well short of the first as he can only get this to the 30. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
One of the money routes for any offense, the drag route. So tough to defend because the receiver can stop at any point and make himself available to the quarterback and get a completion. But I love the communication we saw there. All the defenders pointing out the receiver, where he was going, and then they're able to rally to the ball after the catch and stop him short of a first down.
Time for the Steelers offense now to get set for their first possession of half number 2. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
Connor, and they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And just like that, it's 3rd down.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Matt Judon in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
This will be fielded at the 17. Now a hit and a loose football. And it's picked up by the Steelers. And he's in for 6 and a Steeler touchdown. A big play there. His first touchdown on the year as his guys are back within a single score. That's a score you felt they had to have here in the 3rd quarter to get back in this game.
And you know that there's an emphasis on their side. Hey, we know this. We know where we are. But sometimes that binds you up so much that you try too hard, you don't get the score. A perfect combination of urgency, yet relaxed enough to get it done.
They don't want it, boys. They don't want it. They don't want it.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
That one good for 13 and a Raven first down.
Well, partner, for a few years there, we thought this read option play was going to take over the whole NFL. It seemed like everyone was using it. But it has been scaled back considerably in the last few seasons, mainly because people are worried about their quarterbacks getting hit. But when you call it at the right time and you use it properly, you see the type of gains you can get. A nice chunk of yardage there by the quarterback.
Kill, kill, kill. Turn up. Kill, kill, kill. Turn up. Who's your quicker? Jumper, jumper, jumper.
Edwards now on 1st and 10. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. Edwards, a man who went undrafted out of Rutgers, signed with the Ravens, and last year as a rookie, very productive. 718 yards in only 11 games played. 300-yard games in the second half of the season. All of them victories, really helping propel the Ravens into the postseason. Also had better than 5 yards per carry. Quite a start for the Staten Island native to his NFL career. From the 44, Jackson. He's going deep for, and it's intercepted. Joe Hayden, the veteran, with a pick. And the return goes up to his own 17-yard line.
I tell you, Brandon, it seems like this guy's been all over the field so far. That's his second interception of the game. And so much of playing defense in the NFL, especially when it comes to defending the pass, is all about positioning and technique. And this is fantastic work on both fronts there.
The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. On 2nd down, Samuels. And he'll find some space up to about the 25.
That was a good run, probably right on the edge of breaking into something really big. So the defensive guys right now are talking about, okay, what can we do to slow him down before he truly gets started?
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. They'll try and run for it with Connor. And he's going to have the first down yardage as he's down at about the 30-yard line. 3rd down turns to 1st with that 5-yard pickup.
Well, they still have time to get him established, but in my estimation, they've got to pick up the urgency here. They've got to get quickly in and out of the huddle and run off a bunch more plays.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Right back to Connor here on 1st. He takes this from the 30 to the 34.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. On 2nd down now, Samuels. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. That one, a 1st down pickup of 8.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember, the last drive, they went 3 and out.
Nothing in that first half, nothing on the last drive, but they're moving now with a 1st and 10. They'll try the air now. Here's Rudolph. Josh Doxson's got it complete. And he's going to take it in for a Steeler touchdown. Josh Doxson, his first touchdown on the year, as his guys are back within a single score. That halftime lead dwindling.
I love the way you just said that. Perfectly encapsulates what we're seeing right here. Strike after strike, making the big comeback, and right now they are putting the pressure on them in a huge way.
2nd touchdown of the half, and that one was a big one. Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is taken at his 4. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. Now the pass brought in by Roberts. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And he's going to be out of bounds right at midfield. The Ravens get a new set of downs, give them 17 on that pickup.
Pretty nice play here. They go read option, read the defensive end, and when he collapsed down inside, how about the quarterback pulling it, keeping it, and not only getting to the second level, but picking up some really nice yardage.
Very, very well read. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. On first down, Ingram. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. There to make the tackle, Steven Nelson. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
Throwing on second down, Jackson. It's complete to Snead. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down. Well, Snead figures to be an important veteran presence for Lamar Jackson. 2 years ago, it was a disappointing 2017 for Snead. That was in New Orleans, but then had a bit of a bounce-back campaign a season ago in his first go-around with Baltimore. 62 catches, 650 yards. Did have surgery in the offseason on his left index finger, but back to full health and ready to go. He's going to find his tight end, Boyle. And the ball is knocked out, and it's picked up by the Steelers. And the return comes to a halt right at the 44-yard line.
This is really, really difficult for teams to coach because you love the extra effort, right? When he break a couple of tackles, I mean, he was really trying to gain the extra yardage, but you also have to have an idea that people are going to come up behind you from the side, trying to take care of the ball while you're trying to get extra effort. Sometimes you have to know when to say when and maybe just go down.
A gain of 3, second down. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Rudolph now to throw. And yes, complete to the tight end, McDonald. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. That one, a first down pickup of 8.
When an offense reads blitz, doesn't matter where it's coming from, tight ends know that they become a big part of the passing game because they should be an easy outlet when all those extra bodies are trying to get to the quarterback. A hot route, so to speak.
He's going to loft one deep left side here. This is caught inside the 15. 36 yards on the play.
That was an excellent read right there. Saw cover 1. That means it's just a single high safety. So you know if you throw the ball to the outside part of the field, help is going to be a little bit late getting there. And he puts one out there for a big-time completion.
They'll run here with Connor. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
And this is going to be intercepted. It's the former Seahawk, Earl Thomas. And it's a big turnover there on the final play of the quarter. So it'll be a change of possession on the turnover when we get back. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. Now listen, it's a team game, we know that, but where would these guys be right now, Charles, without their defense? So they take over here following the turnover. Defense did it again, but on offense they have to feel like, hey, we need to do something.
You're exactly right. And you just mentioned it, the defense did it again. They bailed them out on a number of occasions in this contest. It's time for them to repay the defense at the least. Keep the ball for a while. Give those guys a break so they can catch their breath.
Give him 30 yards there. Charles, you talk so much about quick change plays. There's one right there. You get the turnover and boom, hit him with a big one.
And defenses plan for this all the time. They work on it in practice. But in the middle of a game, when that quick change takes place, oftentimes guys aren't as focused as they need to be.
Oh, no, he lost the football.
plays like this when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
A 10th carry here for Mark Ingram. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for third down.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
They'll try to run for the first with Ingram. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. Tough sledding. They lose a yard there on third.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
And this one is right down the middle. And they will move up by 10 now, 17-7. A big one there. That gives him a little cushion and makes it a two-score game.
Yeah, bled a little time off the clock, put some points on the board. It's not totally out of reach yet, but it has to feel pretty good to them right now because as a defender, you go out on the field and say, guess what? You can put some points on the board, but that won't beat us.
Tucker now following the main field goal, set to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. Out comes the Steeler offense now, ready to see what they can do here. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate, and of course they'd like to forget the ending, the interception, but they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part two, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. 2nd and 10 now from the 27.
Big stop, D. Big stop. Let's go. Let's go.
Now Rudolph. And his throw's going to be incomplete. James Washington was the intended target, and it's third down.
I think you put just a little bit too much heat on that one. When you throw it to the outside, you do have to be careful because you got to keep it away from the defender, but you also have to give your own guy a chance, too.
Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
And the blitz does come. Matt Judon. He's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year. You thought we'd see pressure. You weren't kidding.
Yeah, I thought that they'd be very aggressive in that type of a situation, and that's what they call getting home, because home is where the quarterback is.
And where the heart is. And
that heart just got shattered in 1,000 pieces.
This is taken at about the 14. A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. Well, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this 4th quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
The drive starts here with a carry by Ingram. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. That sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down. And the trend continues here in the 4th like it was in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. But bottom line is, he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
On 2nd and 12, Jackson. Roberts got it. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've had their troubles. Just 1 for 6. They're looking at 3rd and a few inches. From the gun, it's a run for Ingram. And he brings this up to the 46, good enough for the first. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains. Hasn't been his best afternoon on the ground, far from it, but a critical third down conversion.
His afternoon just got better. All right, you're exactly right. It hasn't been his best in terms of yardage, but that run there, that's the one your teammates look to you and go, okay, that's what we want from you. That's what we need. Now they have a chance to keep moving forward and a chance to win the game.
This pass complete. Jackson finding Andrews. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. 16 yards on that one and a Raven first.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
They'll run on first down. It's Ingram. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play. And I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
55's my guy, 55. Let's go.
On second down, it's Edwards. Works his way inside the 30 on a pickup of 4.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
The Ravens on third down, lacking much success, just 2 for 7 to this point. They're looking at third in the nose of the football. Here's Ingram. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what was said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3-and-out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
Ingram again, a first down carry. And only able to muster a couple down to about the 27. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive. Nice job there on the tackle. Keep him to the short gain. And, of course, he got some good news this week. He was named AFC Defensive Player of the Week from last week's effort.
And part of the reason he got that award, because of plays like that. Not every play is spectacular. Not every play is for a loss. Make the plays that are in front of you, keep it to short gains, and you pile up statistics.
Switch.
From the 27, Jackson. Roberts has it. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. RG3, his 3rd touchdown now on the year as the Ravens push further out in front. Offensively, pretty effective option play there for the score.
Certainly was, and it appeared to me that the defense overshifted and overplayed the trail back, the pitch man, and almost forgot about the quarterback. In fact, they did forget about the quarterback, and he turned it into a touchdown.
Tucker able to connect on the extra point, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. A 10-play drive that time. And a nice play on the end of it, an 18-yard touchdown run. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. A gain of 10, good for a Steeler first down. This quarterback now perfect since the second half started. 7 of 7. It's 1st and 10. Here's Rudolph. That one into the hands of his tailback, Samuels.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the fourth quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down fourth quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down.
I got you, boy.
Rudolph looking to throw it. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down. Down under 2 minutes to go in this football game. So the Steelers with the football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. A battle for it, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the Pro Bowler, Marcus Peters. And his guys are going to take over at the 31-yard line. All smiles and high fives on that defensive sideline. That interception will cap off what was truly a tremendous performance.
Yeah, if you can hold a team to 7 points in the NFL, that's the kind of day that you feel really good about. Now, I do know a few guys are going to think to themselves, held them to 7. If we'd made one more play, could have had our shutout.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And a few kneel downs should just about do it. Now, defensively, they do have all 3 timeouts, but very little reason to use them at this point. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Switch.
Now Ingram, he's been busy today. And he'll have a gain of 3 to the 33.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
Brings up 2nd and 7 at the 33-yard line.
Watch 98. 98's the mic. Ball.
And they take a knee. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game.
Hey. You got 3. Three down.
And they will take a knee here.
A loss of a yard. Brings up 4th down.
Wait. Bring it.
So the final seconds tick away in this Baltimore victory, and they were really helped by their defense, forcing 3 turnovers.
I think what we saw in this one, today's defense. And what I mean by that is in the old days, pitching shutouts was big time. That was paramount. But the big thing was holding people down, holding down their yardage, right? Don't let them throw the ball through the air and gain a lot of... But now, it's about taking the ball away. Taking away possessions, getting the ball back for their offense. They had 3 takeaways in this one, and it led them to victory.
So So for Baltimore, they boost their record up to a strong 4-1, and they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for the Steelers, the loss will move them back to 3-2 on the year.